Hi and good morning, kids, and happy Sabbath. So for today's lesson, we're going to be looking at how Jesus spoke to the Pharisees. So who were the Pharisees anyways? Well, the Pharisees, they were people who thought they were better than everybody else. So they looked down on everyone else. They thought they were the best. And they would pick out at people and say that you need to change your ways and you need to act differently. But they themselves, they never changed their ways. They just acted the way they desired to act in their own hearts. So one day they met Jesus and they decided to ask Jesus a question. They asked Jesus, "What is the greatest commandment?" They didn't ask this question because they really wanted to know the answer. No, they asked the question really because they wanted to trip Jesus up. They wanted him to say something wrong and they could say, "Well, this man is not the person who you've been looking for. This is not the Jesus who we've been looking for." They just wanted to pick something out and to say something that he did something wrong. And this is something very bad. And they also pretended that they loved God. And they wanted people to believe that they loved God, but they didn't really deep down. And, sometimes we can find ourselves pretending. We can pretend to do different things and say that we believe in, we trust God when we act in a certain way, but we don't really trust him. So God doesn't want us to pretend. He wants us to truly believe in him and to truly trust in him. Because it even says in John chapter 1, verse 12, it says, "But to all who believed him and accepted him, he gave the right to become children of God." So God is asking for us to trust in him and to believe in him so that we may become his children. So as we continue in today's lesson, we're going to have a short prayer first. So hope you guys enjoy our lesson for today.
I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you, oh my soul, rejoice. Take joy, my King, in what you hear. Let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear. Love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you, oh my soul, rejoice. Take joy, my King, in what you hear. Let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear.
Let's pray. Dear Jesus, thank you for being with us this week. Please be with us this Sabbath and help us to learn an important lesson in the kids' church. Lord, help us to always love you. Amen.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming. I have a very important announcement. I have decided that I am the most important fruit. Therefore, you must all listen to me.
Mr. Pineapple, why are you the most important?
What a great question, little one. As you can see, I am taller than all the other fruit. I also have this crown thingy on my head. Therefore, I am the most important. No fruit is more important than me. You must all try to grow crowns and be bigger.
But look how bright I am. Real fruit are brightly colored. You're mostly brown, Pineapple.
No. You have it all wrong. To be a real fruit, you have to taste sweet. Apples taste sweet. Lemons are sour. And if you want bright colors, look how shiny my skin is. No other fruit is as loved as me.
You may be bright, but you're not as special as I am. You're too common to be special, and you don't have a crown.
What about me? People love me in all kinds of forms. Crushed into sauce, diced into salads, or even just plain. I taste great.
Dear tomato, aren't you a bit confused? I don't believe you're even a fruit. You're one of those less important vegetables. You are embarrassing yourself. Please go back to your own kind.
Less important? Who are you calling less important? I've got that leafy crown you think is so important.
I think a tomato is technically a fruit, but not as important as me, of course. I'm very appealing. Real fruit must be peeled. Grape, I don't think you're a true fruit.
Peel or no peel, the most important part of a fruit is being juicy. Banana, where's your juice?
What about me? Am I a fruit? Am I a little juicy?
No, and you don't taste good.
Sure he does. Don't listen to him, Asparagus.
Come on, guys. You don't have to fight. I'm a grape. I'm the best. I come in easy, bite-sized servings. That's the sign of a good fruit. What are you trying to prove, Pineapple?
Friends, stop arguing. The truth of the matter is that none of you are fruit. You're all made of plastic. You're pretending to be important, healthy food. But inside, you're nothing but fake materials, unfit for anyone to eat. You may fool people at first, but anyone who tried to take a bite out of you would see through your pretending. Now, you may have a place in the playroom, but you have no place in a real kitchen.
Jesus talks about the Pharisees. This is found in Matthew chapter 23, verses 1 to 12. When Jesus was teaching on earth, there were a group of Jews known as the Pharisees. They were known as the separated ones, as they tried to separate themselves from doing anything to break God's laws or associate with anyone they thought was breaking God's rules. The problem with the Pharisees was that they made up lots of their own extra rules that they expected everyone to obey. And when others did not obey their rules, they looked down on them as if they were sinners. Some of the Pharisees were so proud of keeping their rules, they were very judgmental of those who did not live like them. Jesus warned his disciples not to have the same judgmental attitude as the Pharisees. Jesus said, "The teachers of the law and the Pharisees have the authority to tell you what the law of Moses says. So you should obey and follow whatever they tell you. But their lives are not good examples for you to follow. They tell you to do things, but they don't do the things themselves. They make strict rules and try to force people to obey them, but they themselves will not try to follow any of those rules." Jesus said that the Pharisees made up so many rules and traditions, it was like putting a huge burden on someone's back. They put this burden of rules and laws on people, but they did not help them in any way. The reason they do good things is so other people will see them, said Jesus. They make the boxes of scripture that they wear bigger and bigger, and they make their special prayer clothes very long so that people will notice them. These Pharisees and teachers of the law loved to have the most important seats at the feasts, and they loved to have the most important seats in the synagogue. They loved people to show respect to them in the marketplaces and to be known as teacher. But you must not be called teacher. You are all brothers and sisters together. You have only one teacher, the Christ. He who serves you as a servant is the greatest among you. Whoever makes himself great will be made humble. Whoever makes himself humble will be made great.
All right, boys and girls, so I'm going to share the first object lesson with you this morning. Now, I'm going to name something that the Pharisees did. And what I want you to do is I want you to give a big thumbs up or a big thumbs down to the screen. If you think it's good, give a big thumbs up. If you think it's bad, give a big thumbs down. Okay? So here we go. The Pharisees taught people about God. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Thumbs up? Yes. What would you say, Jacob? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Give them a thumbs up. Let them see a big thumbs up. Ah, okay. All right. Good boy. Well, teaching the people about God sounds good, doesn't it? In fact, the Pharisees, Jesus actually taught people about God all the time. But it seems in the Bible that Jesus doesn't like the way the Pharisees taught people about God. So let's have a look and see how the Pharisees taught people about God. I'm going to read a Bible verse. It's Matthew 23 and verses 2 to 4. And this is what it says. The teachers of the law and the Pharisees are the authorized interpreters of Moses' law. So you must obey and follow everything they tell you to do. Do not, however, imitate their actions, because they don't practice what they preach. They tie on people's backs loads that are heavy and too hard to carry, yet they aren't even willing to lift a finger to help them carry these loads. Now, I'm going to use an illustration here to show you the kind of burdens that the Pharisees made people carry. Now, what we're going to do, Jacob, is we're going to do a little experiment. Okay? You ready? All right, very good. Now, Jesus' rules in the Bible were simple. He told the Pharisees what they were. Now, listen to what Jesus said his rules were. Again, it's taken from Matthew chapter 22 this time, and it's verses 35 to verse 40. This is what Jesus said the rules were. And one of them, a teacher of the law, trying to trap Jesus with a question. Teacher, he asked, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Jesus answered, love the Lord with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and the most important commandment. The second most important commandment is like it. Love your neighbour as you love yourself. The whole law of Moses and the teachings of the prophets depend on these two commandments. Now, Jacob, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one book here to this bucket, all right, that you have here. And what I want you to do is I want you to try and lift the bucket to see if it's light or if it's heavy. That book that I've put in there represents Jesus's rule to love God and love your neighbor as yourself. All right, so try and lift the bucket and see if the bucket's heavy or light.
It's pretty light.
It's pretty light, is it? Okay, very good. Now, so far, as Jacob said, the bucket's pretty light, right? But even if the bucket's light, God says we don't have to lift the bucket on our own because God will help us love him and love other people. And even when we don't do it perfectly, he forgives us anyway. Well, the problem with the Pharisees is that they added a whole load of rules to God's rules. Is that good or bad?
Bad.
Bad. Thumbs down, everybody. Adding rules to God's rules. They kind of sort of forgot about, shall we say, about God's rule of love. And they instead began to focus on all loads of other things. Now listen to some of the rules. Now with each rule, I'm going to add another book to the bucket. Now, God said don't work on the Sabbath day, his special day. But the Pharisees added a whole load. In fact, they had 13 categories about what it meant to work. Oh, this is heavy. This is a heavy rule. The Pharisees even said you can't pick grains of wheat if you're hungry on the Sabbath day. Right. The Pharisees, another rule they had was that you can't even eat gnats. You know, those little flies? And so just to make sure you don't eat gnats, you have to strain, put the water that you drink through like a sieve type thing in case there's a gnat in it. Another rule, because you're not allowed to eat gnats. So there's another rule to add to the bucket. Now, the Pharisees also said you have to fast a lot. And fasting's good, but the Pharisees made it a burden. The Pharisees said that you can't swear by God's temple, but you can swear by the gold in the temple. And if you do swear by the gold in the temple, you can't go back on that promise. So there's another rule they had. Let's see if you can lift all these rules in a second, Jacob, okay? Now, the Pharisees also had a rule that you had to be really keep yourself really clean. Now, that's not a bad thing, is it? We should all keep ourselves clean, but they went way over the top with another rule. Now, there were lots of other rules too. I'm not going to go over them. There were hundreds of these rules, so we'll just add another book to represent all these other rules that the Pharisees had on top of loving God. Look, we've nearly got this bucket full, haven't we, Jacob? Now here, you try to lift this bucket now. Is that easy?
No.
No, it's very hard, is it?
Yeah.
Yes. Let me wonder, how would you feel, boys and girls, if you had to try and lift this bucket to carry all of these rules that the Pharisees made up, and you had to carry these rules anywhere you went? Unfortunately, the Pharisees taught that the Bible was a bunch of rules, and they kind of crushed people with these heavy burdens they made people carry. But that's not what the Bible's about, is it? No. Jesus wanted us to love him and love our neighbour as yourself. And that was the biggest rule that Jesus spoke about. Not all of these other hundreds of rules that the Pharisees made up. So boys and girls, love your neighbour as yourself and love God, Jesus' one rule. Do you want to try and lift it again?
Yeah.
A little bit, right? But imagine carrying that round wherever you want. Yep. Boys and girls, Jesus doesn't want us to pretend to love him, but he wants us to love him with our whole heart and with our whole mind. Have a good day.
Good morning, boys and girls. And today in our kids service, you've heard we're talking about the Pharisees. The Pharisees were the religious people in Bible times. Now, some of the Pharisees were good men, but some, they liked to make up extra rules that they made loving God nearly impossible. And some of these rules that they made up, they didn't follow themselves. So we're going to look at a little object lesson here today to think about the Pharisees. Some things aren't as they appear to be. They may look one way, but in reality, they are not as impressive as they seem. It's kind of like if you get vanilla ice cream, but somebody has made it like garlic flavour. It looks tasty, but it doesn't taste so nice. Let's prove that idea with this experiment. Well, we have an empty cup, and we have a cup that I've already put some water into, and I've put a little bit of food colouring into it just to give it some colour. Okay, and you can try this at home. So with this cup here, I'm gonna put this cup in, okay? But wait till you see what happens when I push down. Wow, can you see that? This cup looks like it's full. Wow, it's even that full, it's starting to spill out. So pressing down on the top cup makes the bottom cup look full. Can you see? is our fake-filled cup, like the Pharisees in our Bible story? What are the ways people today, I want you to think about this, what are the ways that people today might look like they love Jesus, but they're actually faking it? Have a think about that. And is that what you would like to be? Would you like to be somebody who is faking that they love Jesus? Well, Jesus wants us to love him. He doesn't want us to pretend. So when you try this at home, just think about when you push down, our cups look good on the outside. Doesn't that look good? But they aren't actually filled with liquid. Look, still just that little bit in the bottom. The Pharisees looked good on the outside too, but they weren't filled with the genuine love of God or his people. Jesus doesn't want us to pretend to love him. He sees what's on the inside of us, and he fills us with love that we can share with everyone every day.
Today's craft, we will be making a face mask. What you need is some pieces of felt, scissors, glue or glue dots, elastic, and a permanent marker. First step is to get the piece of felt, hold it up to a person's face and draw. I had already done mine before. Then what you need to do is cut out 2 eyes and a mouth. Hold the mask up to the person's face to make sure that they're in place. Next, you want to decorate the mask by adding the supplies. I'm going to be making a dog mask. I've cut out the pieces I need, which is 2 ears, a nose, a tongue, and some spots. What you want to do is stick on your pieces to the mask with your glue or glue dots. So I stuck on the tongue, first ear and second ear, the nose, and some spots. Like that. Then what you want to do is hold it up to the face and make sure it looks good. Then you're going to get your elastic strings and stick them on. In big school, we have to wear masks to protect us from COVID-19. Sometimes it's hard to recognise my friends when they have face masks on. We wear masks. When we wear masks, we usually pretend to be someone else. It can be hard to recognise the real person underneath the mask. But Jesus doesn't want us to pretend to love him. He doesn't want bad hearts to be disguised by good actions. Jesus sees right through that. and He wants our outside to reflect who we are inside. Thank you.
Jesus is the one who lights our way. He gives us hope for each new day. When the world feels dark and lonely, His love illuminates. He's the one I trust and I will follow Him. He is the light that breaks through the darkness. Follow His lead and light it up. Jesus will guide us through every dark time. Follow His lead and light up the world. Jesus is the one who lights our way. He gives us hope for each new day. When the world feels dark and lonely, His love illuminates. He's the one I trust and I will follow Him. He is the light that breaks through the darkness. Follow His lead and light it up. Jesus will guide us through every dark time. Follow His lead and light up the world. I'm gonna follow Jesus wherever He will lead me. I'm gonna follow Jesus all the way. I'm gonna follow Jesus wherever He will lead me. I'm gonna follow Jesus all the way. He is the light that breaks through the darkness. Follow His lead and light it